The moment felt strange even to him. A quiet park. A sunny afternoon. Kids laughing. And his boss, successful, confident, always in control, suddenly dropping onto his lap like she was running out of time. Before he could speak, she leaned close and whispered, her voice shaking, "Please, don't let him see me." He didn't know what danger looked like in that moment. He only knew fear when he felt it. And without thinking, he lowered his voice and said the only words that felt right. "Easy. I've got you." Before the story begins, if you enjoy emotional, real-life inspired stories about kindness, second chances, and unexpected human connection, take a moment to subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. You're watching your channel name, where stories remind us that kindness still matters. Mark never expected his life to become small, but that's what it felt like after his wife passed away. One day, he was part of a loud, busy family. The next, it was just him and his 5-year-old daughter, Lily, learning how to breathe again without her mom. Every decision he made revolved around Lily, her school, her smile, her safety. His dreams shrank, but his love grew. That's why he worked 2 jobs. Mornings stocking shelves, afternoons as a personal assistant at a mid-sized marketing firm. The pay wasn't great, but the hours were flexible. And flexibility was everything when you were a single dad. His boss, Clare Reynolds, was nothing like the other executives he'd seen. She was sharp, driven, and respected, but never cruel. She remembered birthdays. She said thank you. She once stayed late just to help Mark fix a scheduling mistake that wasn't even his fault. Still, she was his boss. And she lived in a world far away from his. That Saturday afternoon, Mark took Lily to the park like he always did. Same bench. Same juice box. Same routine. Lily ran toward the swings, her laughter floating through the air, and Mark finally sat down, exhaling. That's when he heard his name. Mark. He looked up, surprised. Claire stood a few feet away, sunglasses on, hair pulled back, dressed casually for once. She looked different. Smaller somehow. Before he could say hello, her eyes darted behind him. Her face drained of color. "Oh God," she whispered. In one rushed motion, she crossed the space between them and sat directly on his lap, turning her face away. Her hand gripped his sleeve like she was holding onto a ledge. "I'm sorry," she said fast. Please, my ex is here. I can't let him see me." Mark froze. People walked by. Kids shouted. Time slowed. He could feel her shaking. This wasn't drama. This was fear. He leaned slightly forward, shielding her, and lowered his voice. "Easy," he whispered. "I've got you." She let out a breath she'd been holding for years. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Mark watched Lily swing higher and higher, unaware. Claire stayed still, trusting him with something raw and unspoken. Minutes passed. Then Claire slowly lifted her head. "He's gone," she said quietly. She stood up immediately, embarrassed. "I'm so sorry. That was inappropriate. I don't know what came over me." Mark shook his head. "You don't have to explain." She hesitated. "Thank you. You didn't have to help me." He smiled gently. Sometimes people just need someone to stand between them and something painful. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. At work on Monday, Claire was quieter. Less sharp. More human. She asked about Lily. She asked how Mark was really doing. And one afternoon, she surprised him by saying, "Would you like to take a longer lunch sometime? I owe you a conversation." Over sandwiches in a small cafe, the truth came out. Her ex wasn't just an old boyfriend. He was controlling. Manipulative. He'd taken years of her confidence and made her believe fear was normal. "I'm successful on paper," she said, staring into her coffee. "But inside, I still feel like I'm hiding." Mark nodded. "After my wife died, I felt invisible. Like the world kept moving, and I was stuck holding everything together with tired hands." They sat in silence, understanding each other without fixing anything. Weeks passed. Kindness filled the space between them in small ways. Clare approved Mark's request to work remotely twice a week so he could be there for Lily. Mark stayed late without complaint when Clare had panic attacks before big meetings. They never crossed lines. They just showed up. One night, Lily got sick. Mark missed an important presentation the next morning. He expected disappointment. Instead, Clare said, "Family first. Always." That kindness mattered more than she knew. Months later, Clare invited Mark and Lily to a company picnic. Lily clung to Mark's hand at first, shy. Clare knelt down to her level and said, "Your dad is my hero, you know." Lily beamed. That day, Mark realized something. Kindness wasn't loud. It didn't demand credit. It sat quietly on park benches. It whispered comfort. It made room for fear without judgment. Time kept moving. Clare found the courage to fully cut ties with her ex. Mark saved enough to reduce his second job. Life didn't magically become easy, but it became lighter. One afternoon, back at the same park, Clare sat beside Mark on the bench this time, not on his lap. Lily played nearby. "You know," Clare said softly, "that day you protected me, it changed something. You reminded me that kindness can come from unexpected places." Mark smiled. "You did the same for me. You saw me when I felt invisible." They sat in comfortable silence, watching a little girl laugh. Sometimes kindness doesn't look heroic. Sometimes it looks awkward. Sometimes it looks like holding still when someone else is shaking. But it always leaves a mark. And long after that strange moment at the park, both of them carried that kindness forward, into their work, their families, their lives. Because when someone whispers, "I'm scared," and another person answers, "I've got you," the world becomes a little safer. So if you're watching this today, remember, your kindness, small, quiet, imperfect, might be the thing someone else is hiding behind. And that might change everything.